Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, it is just past midnight on Saturday, January 24th, day 1430 of Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. How do you do? I'm Peter Alexievich, and this is the Live at 5 from Kyiv, coming to you from this major European capital currently in the dark, or mostly in the dark. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Richard Prexis. Hey, J-Dog. How you doing? Oh, shoot. Shoot. Hold on for 1 second. Oh, shoot. Shoot. Hold on for 1 second. Oh, I am discombobulated. Hey, Truthful. Hey, Craig. You had a lot of arguments today, did you, Jay? What are you arguing with people about? Hey, Chef Deb. Hey, Truthful. Hey, Lee. Hey, Yvonne. How you guys doing? Hey, Victoria. Hey, Dan. Trump's mouth. Boy, he really endeared himself to our British friends, didn't he? Holy shit. Look, guys, what can I do? I can only apologize for the dumb son of a bitch so much. Yeah, T-Bone, you hear the comments that your buddy Trump made? Oh, come on. No way. No way. Are you kidding me? Hold on. Just hang on there. Wait a second. I know it's here. Hold on. Wow. I thought this was not going to be a problem. And I'll tell you why. Holy cowbunga. Okay. There we go. That's some kind of light anyway. Let me see. Not great, but not bad. So I'm still with everybody. We're all still here. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Stu. I am doing better, T-Bone. Hold that thought for a second. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Sandra. UK troops were the main force in 3 wars and were more than up front. Guys, look, there's nothing, I mean, I can apologize till the cows come home for the fact that, oh, there we go. Okay, that's better. For the fact that every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, he demonstrates the arrogance, the ignorance, the unmitigated gall of a person who is so deeply ignorant about what it means to fight for your country. Remember, this is a guy who, rather than go to the return of those 4 soldiers that were killed in Lithuania, he went golfing. This is the same guy who said of John McCain, I'm not even a Republican, but as an American, you have to respect John McCain, a war hero captured in Vietnam, suffered extraordinarily at the hands of the enemy for years in a prison camp. And Donald Trump had the nerve to say, I don't like guys that get captured. I like guys that win. This is a person who was handed as a child $100 million. He wasn't born with a golden spoon in his mouth. He was born with a gold refinery. He has never had to work for a thing in his life. That is why he will never be satisfied with anything. Nothing will ever satisfy him. Now, I'm a civilian who has never spent a single day in the military. I don't know anything about the military. But I understand what sacrifice is. And I know it when I see it. I wish that I was a person who had the capacity to even make the sacrifices to stay in my own apartment right now. But I'm not. And that's why when I see the sacrifices that people make in the military for all of us, I am in awe of them. And I'm in awe more of the Ukrainians than anybody because they do it every day and I get to see it a little bit. Just to turn the subject away from Tangerine Palpatine for a minute. And again, to my UK friends, we all know the sacrifices that the UK military made in our wars. And it is amazing that when you look at Afghanistan in particular, and you look at the fact that the Danes, as a per capita group, had more losses in Afghanistan than any other group, it is obscene that they should be threatened by the President of the United States with military action over a sovereign territory of the kingdom. And right-thinking Americans can only be embarrassed and ashamed and do everything we can to remove this threat to our democracy before it is too late, which it may be already. I'm sorry to say. So, yeah, T-Bone, your buddy Donnie is winning friends and influencing people everywhere he goes. I don't know how you are still on Team Trump, pal. I really do not. Now, as far as I go, to explain where I am here, and then we'll look at some more of your responses here, just to bring you all up to speed. For anybody that was in last night's live, you saw me cracking in real time. That's what was going on. Exhausted. I didn't have more than 3.5 hours of sleep in a row. What was going on? Exhausted. I didn't have more than 3.5 hours of sleep in a row in a week. It was day 15 with no heat. And you know, the first 11 days weren't too bad because I had power about 12 hours a day or so. And that was enough to keep the place warm and make life bearable. But this week, boy, this week broke me. I was exhausted. I was feeling like I would never be warm again. I was paranoid that running the stove so much, I was risking burning the house down with me and my neighbors in it. And so today I just, looking at the weather for the next few days, it appears as though there is a warming trend coming and will be above freezing, at least during the day next week. And so I left the house and I came to a hotel. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. I felt like my sanity and my health was at stake. And so I'm here now, you know, and I'm going to be here probably for the next 2 nights, probably Monday night. I'll be live in the apartment again. Be here probably for the next 2 nights, probably Monday night. I'll be live in the apartment again. BP says I look okay. Oh, that's when I was in the dark, right, BP? You're funny. That's funny. That's a funny joke. John, nobody should listen to anything that Donald Trump says about their military. He is obscene. He's absolutely obscene. Hey, refurb man. Guys, am I talking to myself? Am I not connected? Or maybe now I'm reconnected? Hey, McNally. There's McNally, guys. He was our sponsor last night, and I guess he missed it. Hey, Mike Kelly. Hey, Bernard. So everybody thank Mick for last night and thank Jan Halverson for tonight. Jan is our sponsor tonight. Again, for everybody who witnessed my partial breakdown last night, my sincere apologies. You can watch it on YouTube. It's recorded. Hey, Van. Hey, Feisty. Hey, Carol. Maddie Wright let me know that she is not going to be on TikTok anymore. And so I just want to publicly thank her for, gosh, I don't know if it's 2 years of, I think it's almost 2 years of modding for the channel. And so we're losing Maddie Wright. But I really do want to publicly thank her for her time and her support. Thanks, Scully. So, Mr. Local, this particular hotel has its own generator. The elevators work. The heat is on. The lights are on. Well, mostly, right? You saw that flicker there. And this particular hotel is right next to my doctor. So tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment. I'm going to the doctor, which I think is a good idea. I'm going to the doctor, which I think is a good idea. So Nightshade, last night, my Ukrainian phone died. It's just dead. And not only did we have no power, no lights, the internet was out as well. And without the cellular, I couldn't get online on time. The internet came back at about 2:45 in the morning. And I was still up because I have not been sleeping these days. And I jumped on, and it was a mistake, frankly. It was a mistake. It was not a good night. Oh, man, this is weird because they have a generator here. It was not a good night. Oh, man, this is weird because they have a generator here. Ugh. The loss of this phone, I mean, look, you guys know my trip. Never mind, doesn't matter. Peter, seriously, you need to watch. Yes, I know Yuri Bezmenov. I'm familiar with his work. Why you would think I'm not, I don't know. Thank you, Bernard. I agree. You feeling okay, Lars? I mean, you know, for you. Well, Bobby, I don't know if Ukraine is going to prevail. I mean, you know, I believe in Ukraine. You know, I think that ultimately that's how things are going to go. But things are very difficult right now. There's no two ways about it. And we have reached a point in the negotiations where something is happening tonight that has never happened before. A trilateral talk. Russian, Ukrainian, and U.S. delegations sitting down across from each other in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. and trying to hammer out what Steve Witkoff calls the last 1%. The last 1%. I'm afraid, Andy, I don't know how it went. I made the decision at about, I don't know, 3 o'clock this afternoon to leave the apartment and come here. Well, T-Bone, I don't know. Right now, it's sitting in the rice. And maybe it's just moisture inside from the cold. But I guess it's supposed to sit in there for 2 days, right, to know. And I don't know if I can go for 2 days without it, because in this country, you have to have a Ukrainian phone number for everything. I went to the bank this afternoon when I decided I was going to leave the apartment. I went to the bank to try to get my bank app on my American phone, right? No, I'm sorry, we can't do that. You have to have a Ukrainian phone number to get the banking app on your phone. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. Anyway, the Abu Dhabi talks, these are the first trilateral talks between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. The country is having a hard time, right? Now, you look at me. I'm not a Ukrainian. I'm not personally invested in this war. I am very fortunate that I'm in a position to leave my apartment and come to a hotel in this crisis situation. Very fortunate, and very much only because of the support of the Patreon folks. Most Ukrainians couldn't do this, would not be able to. And look at me last night. I was cracking under the pressure. Today, I made the smart choice and got myself out of that situation and in a situation that will be far healthier for me. But this is a temporary situation that is not tenable in the long term. Can you imagine the stress that the Ukrainians are under? Their whole lives on the line. Oh, Van, I don't need that much money for a phone. Watch the Patreon page. I'll when I figure out whether or not this one is working, I'll let everybody know. I appreciate it, Van. Thank you. But don't think about me right now. Think about the Ukrainians. Think about the Ukrainian people under this pressure, in this cold, pipes breaking, icicles dangling down the stairs into the foyers of their apartment buildings. Heat has only been restored to 3/4, or heat power anyway, has only been restored to about 3/4 of the population here in Kyiv and in Dnipropetrovsk. 2,600 high rises. Remember back on the 9th of this month when the first attack came and 460 apartments were left without heat? 460 apartment buildings. And it was like, oh, that's a humanitarian crisis. No, there's 2,600 apartment buildings that don't have heat right now, today, a quarter of the city of 4 million people. My apartment building has 12 floors with 3 apartments per floor. That's 36 apartments times 3, because there's 3 sections to the building. So how many is that? Like 136 or something, 140. 140 homes in my building alone with no heat. You guys saw when I walked into the bedroom last night, it was less than 45 degrees in there, right? I held up the light and I breathed and you could see my breath. And I'm one of the lucky ones, because I was getting power 3 or 4 hours a day. And I have a gas range and a water heater. The pressure that and I hate these fucking trolls on the comments of my videos who dare to say, if Ukraine winning, why they want ceasefire? Maybe because you're murdering their children and freezing their grandmothers in their beds at night. Every fucking day, you animals, you filthy fucking animals. Maybe that's why they want a ceasefire. So we don't know what's going to happen at Abu Dhabi, and everybody knows my opinion. And of course, perhaps I'm wrong. I could easily be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Ask my ex-wife. But I really thought that when Witkoff and Kushner got summoned to Moscow last night, that they were going to be given marching orders for Trump to get back on Greenland, destroy NATO, fracture the EU, destroy American influence in the world, which is what Donald Trump is doing every time he opens his fat, flabby, stupid, ignorant fucking mouth about the contributions of the brave men and women of the armed forces of our allies who have been there to support us time after time after time. And he speaks of them so dismissively. Allies win wars. Allies win wars. That's how you win wars, is with allies. And I can't make up for the stupid things that Donald Trump has said, but I can call out the allies of the Ukrainians who have come to their aid during this terrible time. And this is only a partial list, so I'm sorry that I don't have everybody here. And chief among those missing is the United States, which is forever an embarrassment to me and will ever be a stain on the soul of my nation. But the EU has sent 440 generators from out of its civil disaster stockpiles, 445 generators from the EU. Germany sent 2 combined mini heat and power units. Thank you, Germany. Italy has already delivered 39 of the industrial boilers to help restore heating in Ukraine. Those 39 boilers are being installed now. There's another 39 on the way. The Netherlands has committed $28 million to buy natural gas and equipment for Ukraine to help get us through this winter. Poland sent 400 generators. Thank you, Poland. Ireland and Denmark are funding equipment purchases. The Azeris and the Chechias have sent equipment, including hundreds of kilometers of electrical cable, heavy-duty industrial electrical cable. And Japan is finalizing a $6 billion humanitarian aid package that will float Ukraine through until they get the $90 billion loan from the EU. It's allies that win wars. Imagining that you are strong enough to go it alone in the world, that you have everything you need and you don't need anybody else, is the mistake the Russians have made. That is the error, the hubris of the Russian Federation, and it is a lie. And now we have Donald Trump in the United States telling that same lie to the American maggots, and they believe it. America can do it all on our own. We don't need anybody. We can destroy everybody. No. The strength of America is the strength of our alliances. And it is obscene to see Donald Trump talk the way he talks. He is a national embarrassment and a traitor to everything that we are supposed to hold dear. Hey, Sam Master. Rich, the most efficient way to support me is to join the Patreon. You know, for as little as $5 a month, you can make a difference in my life. That is the best thing to do. The link is in the description. Japan, you know, there's so many things that Japan could do in this case. The money is a big deal. It's a big, big deal. And it's going to make a difference for the Ukrainians. Putin and Trump are like it's like looking in a carnival funhouse mirror, the two of them. It must be. It is disgusting, Bren. It is disgusting. Well, Smokey, I don't know about that, but you're not wrong. The damage that he is doing will be will be generational. He doesn't want to give up Europe. He wants to break up Europe. And it's not like it's his idea. It's Putin's idea. People will say in my comments, if Donald Trump is a Russian asset, why did he do what he did in Venezuela? Well, because that's the agreement. Donald Trump gets the Americas, Putin gets Europe, Xi gets Asia. These are the multipolar great powers idea of the world. The same idea that led to World War I, right? The Ottomans versus the Germans versus the Russian Empire, the German Empire, the Russian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, all these empires. Well, empires by definition are expansionist and imperial, and they will compete against each other. World War II was supposed to put an end to all of that. World War II was supposed to be the end of great power politics and the beginning of a rules-based international order in which anyone who respected human rights, who was dedicated to principles of science and technology and free trade, could participate and compete, and together we could all take advantage of those compounding gains, right? The compounding interest of a liberal democratic society. And we would all be rich. And for the countries that have participated in that process over the last 80 years, you've seen the greatest generation of wealth in the history of the world. The problem is people like Trump and Putin are stuck in that 19th century mentality. Not a world where, well, gosh, the more that everybody has, the more that everybody has. That's a good world to be in. No, they are stuck in a zero-sum game where for me to win, you must lose. You must lose. Donald Trump can't do business with anybody. He has to steal from them. He hires you to do his security. He fucks you over and you go out of business. That makes him feel like a winner. The people of this zero-sum mentality don't have the capacity to understand what co-opetition is. As somebody who worked at the Microsoft Corporation for a number of years, I assure you, co-opetition is the way forward for all of us. So the idea with Trump and Putin is that they don't want to give up Europe. They want to destroy it. J.D. Vance in particular, his whole gig is pushing parties like the AfD, these ultra-nationalist parties, who will destabilize Germany in order to weaken the Germans and make them less competitive, less of a near peer on the international stage. It's insane. When the Germans have been such good friends to us, well, you know, there was that little thing in the 40s. But then after that, it was good. Yeah, referring to Donald Trump as a kind of 19th century king is the worst thing you could possibly do. Trump was Russian subversion with ideology from Russian subversion. Yep, J-Dog, he is. Kennedy, you're funny. 10 to 14 inches of snow in the next few days in Oklahoma. Yeah, you guys are in for it, it looks like. Well, you know how you know. It's not the Weather Channel. It's that Ted Cruz went to California. You can be sure that there's bad weather coming if Ted leaves for California or Cancun. You're not wrong, Den. Trump is an American problem, causing trouble across the globe, and Americans need to sort that problem out. And you know, Den, the thing is that in the United States, there's two United Stateses, right? There's the United States that anti-slavery minded folks who believe that all people are created equal and black folks believe in, right? There's that America. Then there's the America of the rebels and the slave owners and the slaves, the slave mentality, that is, that believe that no, people aren't real. White man, landowning white man is equal. Everybody else a piece of shit I can shoot in the face. That's the problem that we have, and we have got to break out of that. Yeah, Dan, I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. I have a lot of respect for Mark Carney. I think he's doing exactly the right thing. So Kim, shoot, I wish I had, there might have been a strike on Moscow today, but I don't know for sure. We'll have to talk about it on Monday. I'm sorry, guys, I really could get very little done today. And that's one of the reasons why I had to leave the house. I really had to. Hope you are fine, Feisty. Oh, Feisty is fine, yeah. There's Jan Halverson. He's our sponsor tonight. Thanks, Jan. Every time he opens his mouth, the markets dip and his administration buys stock. Yeah, individuals in his administration. Let's be clear. The government is not buying stock. But you are absolutely right. He keeps creating crises that he and his friends benefit from. There's no two ways about it. That's a real thing. And nobody more than J.D. Vance, whose company, Acre Trader, is buying up foreclosed farmland at pennies on the dollar. And it's only being foreclosed on because they were growing soybeans, and Trump's tariffs on China ended those sales. He bankrupted them so JD could buy them out. Trump has effectively destroyed NATO already, Guy. I mean, I don't know that there's any coming back from this. We'll see. We'll see. If we can get him and his regime out of office before the end of the term, maybe we can get him back in everybody's good graces. But I wouldn't blame you for being pissed. With a record, I don't know what that $2 billion is about, TKs. I don't know what that is. When is it that Trump is deemed unfit for office? Well, I deemed him unfit for office in 2015. Unfortunately, my opinion doesn't carry as much weight as it should. Stu. Yeah, it's a real problem with him. And I think that that's why the Europeans need to think about, like, what do we do? What do the Europeans do? If America is such an unreliable partner, and apparently we are, I'm sorry to say, does some new organization take our place? Do you just kick us out of NATO? How does that work? And I don't know the answer to that question. How does Ted Cruz keep getting elected? God, I wish I knew. I see Putin said in an interview on TV that Russia is in charge of the Arctic. Well, he certainly believes that. And nobody has made investments and exploration into the Arctic the way that the Russians have. I mean, they do see that as their domain. The problem, Chrissy, is that they see everything as their domain, right? They are a country without borders in their minds. The border of Russia has no end. Yes, Moscow is within reach of Moscow. Sorry. Moscow is in reach of a flamingo. Yes, it is. However, Moscow is ringed by 220 plus air defense systems. Moscow is ringed by 220 plus air defense systems. Flamingo is a very easy target. I cannot imagine the Ukrainians risking a bunch of this weapon on a target where it's likely to be shot down. Even over Crimea, the interception rate for the Flamingo is 2 out of 3. So for every one that you want to get through to its target, it appears that you have to fire 3. Now, Cobblejob here says there are the civilized and the Neanderthals. Cobblejob, I don't think there's any reason to be insulting to the Neanderthals. Comparing them to maggots is not fair. I'm ashamed of the chief of police complaining but not setting up a sting. TKs, that's a very complicated... Okay, first of all, it's not a Ukraine topic. Second of all, it's much more complicated than you're making it. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see the Kremlin targeted too. Okay, real quick. Last night's strikes. The Russians sent 101 drones, no missiles last night. 101 drones last night. 76 of them were intercepted for a 75% interception rate. But there were hits recorded at numerous locations. For their part, the Ukrainians are not slowing down. Ukrainian strikes last night against Russian infrastructure included, but are not limited to, a bunch of SBU drones operated by the Alpha Group that hit the Taman Naphto gas terminal near the Kerch Bridge. This is an oil loading terminal right at the mouth of the Sea of Azov where it meets the Black Sea, right on the Russia side of the Kerch Bridge. And we are being told that there is a large fire on the territory of that oil terminal, as much as 7,000 square meters. That's a big fire. We are being told that technological pipelines were hit, loading birds and arms were hit, as well as multiple oil tanks, resulting in a fire of 7,000 square meters on the territory of the marine oil terminal. A drone storage facility in Kherson was blown up last night. This is important because you've got two. Right now, the Russians are using the territory of Kherson to fire drones in human hunting, human safaris inside of Kherson City. The drone operators that they're training to do this, and that they're using the people of Kherson to train to do this, they're also now doing it up in Zaporizhia City, with the Molina drones. That drone factory was hit 2 days ago. So these are good strikes. Up in Tula, a train full of LNG tankers ran off the rails. This is not associated with the Atesh group's sabotage of a railway cabinet in Belgorod, which stopped all of the supply trains for the Russian Federation forces moving through Belgorod last night. And delays are likely to compound over the next few days. In Penza, the Russian military did a superlative job, according to the governor, and shot down every one of those nasty Ukrainian drones. It was just that pesky drone debris that has resulted in multiple oil tanks at the oil depot, LNG facility, LNG tanks, liquefied natural gas tanks. I'm sorry. The natural gas tanks were in Tula. In Penza, I'm sorry. The natural gas tanks were in Tula. In Penza, it was oil depot. And so multiple oil tanks are burning in Penza because of debris. My apologies. Crimea, radar stations hit last night. In Donetsk, a command post and observation post hit last night. And those were the big strikes last night of the Ukrainians on the Russians. But there's a strike of the Russians on the Russians. In the last week, we have seen Russian air defense systems strike apartment complexes in Rostov-on-Don. The other one was in Krasnodar. And then last night we saw it in Belgorod. So in Belgorod, this wasn't ground-based air defense, but rather it was a plane dropped a glide bomb on apartment complexes in Belgorod. This is the third one of these this year. In 2025, there were 150 of them, of the Russians bombing themselves. Renault is going to build drones at Le Mans and the Cléon factory for Ukraine. So Renault is getting in on the drone business, which is very interesting to me. And then finally, a Moscow military court has sentenced in absentia the Ukrainian missile commander who sank the Moskva. Now, you may remember the Moskva was the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, and the Ukrainians sank it using Neptune missiles back in 2022, back in the first days of the war. It is very curious to note that this conviction in absentia, right, the Ukrainian commander is free, still doing his job every day. This conviction in absentia is, in fact, the first acknowledgement by the Kremlin that the Moskva was sunk. The announcement that the MOD posted on its website, saying that this had happened, was very quickly taken down for some reason. I can't imagine why. So, interesting. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot or cutting your nose off to spite your face. So, big thanks to Jan Halverson, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Big thanks to Lars, who has the Discord server, Nightshade, who has the Peter's Peeps group on the Book of Faces, and, of course, to Feisty, Roy, and Travis, our moderators, and to our newly retired moderator emeritus, Maddie Wright. So, questions, comments. We got about 15 minutes. Questions, comments. It was not sunk. It was converted to a submersible ship. Right on, Dan. Coral Reef Starter Kit. Dan, you know that never went through. PayPal says that it's waiting for you to do something. Hey, Clive Sutton. It makes me sick to see how many people that's died over land. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Look, guys, you could move the entire population of the planet to Texas and have a lower population density than Manhattan. Not a joke. Do the math. You could move the entire population of the world to Texas and have a lower population density than Manhattan. It's not like we don't have enough land. Oh, I wish there was room service. Oh my God, what a treat that would be, Anthony. But no, after curfew, there's no room service in this town these days. So I'm not that spoiled. Gopher Wood, we don't have any idea what the agreement's going to look like. And frankly, if there is an agreement, it's going to be pretty meaningless. It's going to be pretty meaningless because one of two things is going to happen. Either the shooting is going to stop and all of those Russians are going to go home. That's not going to go well for Russia. The wartime economy is going to come to a stop. That's not going to be good for Russia. The fact is, it's my opinion, not the fact is, it's my opinion, that if this war stops, Russia, as we know it, will not exist in 36 months. And then Ukraine can go in and help those occupied territories liberate themselves. That's one possible outcome. Another outcome is that Russia, in fact, keeps its wartime economy rolling, rearms, and comes back for the rest of it in a few years. So whatever this agreement is going to be, it is unlikely to be meaningful in the long term. No, Andy, they are not. No. I have this one friend, Diana. She was made homeless by the Russians twice. She was made homeless when the first Donbass war started in 2014, and she had just bought an apartment in Donetsk City, and she had to flee. So there goes that money. She went back home to her hometown of Bakhmut. I don't have to tell you what happened there. So she saw her childhood home in Bakhmut destroyed. She saw her investments in Donetsk City destroyed. Donetsk is Ukraine. They will never give that up. Hey, Maria Holm. Hey, Lola K. Hey, Akron. Putin cannot allow the soldiers to return as they will cause major problems. Yeah. There's at least, in just the last 3 months, there's at least 1,000 murders attributed to returning SMO soldiers. Did you see the one guy? He went back home to his apartment in Moscow, and in like the yard out in front of the apartment, he dug a trench, and he's been like in the trench since. Right, DK's daddy remembers what happens when the Afghani warriors came home. Is Paul Warburg a good source of information? Stu, I think Paul Warburg is a good aggregator, right? Like he synthesizes lots of different sources into a coherent narrative that is representative of what is happening right now. I think he's very good at that. Yes, I do. And he does seem to work to be fact-based. Oh, Drew, thank you. Yes, in fact, that is true. It's not just one S-300, S-400 system, it's two. So it appears that the Ukrainians have successfully targeted and destroyed at least the radar complexes and some of the launchers of not one but two S-300 or S-400 systems somewhere in the east in the temporarily occupied territories or Crimea, or Crimea, within the last 48 hours or so, yeah. Thanks, Bernard. What is Europe afraid of? I mean, Renvox, I think that there's a couple of things that Europe is legitimately afraid of, and that the Biden administration was legitimately afraid of. The fact that Russia has 6,000 nuclear weapons, and a collapse of the Russian Federation threatens to be a kind of Balkan-style chaos, only with nukes. Can you imagine rogue commanders of the GRAU, the main Directorate of Missile Defense for Russia, selling nuclear bombs to Iran or Myanmar, Pakistan, whoever, take your pick. It's not, it's a concern. Unfortunately, that concern has blinded everybody. And it has left us in a world where everybody seems to be doing everything they can to make sure that Russia doesn't collapse, rather than see that Ukraine wins. And I'm sorry, but it's my opinion that the collapse of the Russian Federation is inevitable. It is a sick, dying culture that has no future. It is a relic. It is the last empire of the First World War. It's just the last remnant of a dead way of looking at the world that must be purged from the world for us as a species to move forward. There's no saving it. Am I popular in Sweden, Jan? Oh, that's awesome. Scully, that's the song I've been singing all along. It is, Bobby. It's the last empire, the last empire of the 19th century, Oh, you're in Sweden, Maria, right? Yeah. Anyway, I've never been. I really would like to go sometime. I really would like to get up that way. 14 inches in PA. Who told you? Oh, you mean snow. Oh, okay. Hey, car. That's more like it, Maria. I just happen to be the I just happen to be a voice for that. That's all. On the subject of Sweden and this channel, big thanks to Jan Halverson, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Someone had asked, the best way to sponsor me or support me is the Patreon. And, I'll be honest, look, I don't really have the money for this hotel room, but my health is important, and so I had to do it. I don't have the money to replace this phone, but it's got to be replaced, I think. We'll see. And, of course, my first vacation in 3 years, first real vacation. I did go to Amsterdam for 3 days last year, and that was nice. But this is the first real vacation in 3 years is coming up. So February 1st to February 14th, don't expect to see me around at all. If anybody wants to help with any of this, the PayPal is in the description. I will figure some way to be thankful to you with a video sponsorship or a live sponsorship or something. And let's pray. Let's all, for those of you who pray, these trilateral talks that are happening today and tomorrow, maybe over the weekend, between the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine are important. They are important. So let's all hope for the best for Ukraine's sake, that some kind of progress can be made. Even if all that comes out of it is an energy ceasefire, so that the two parties stop doing this to each other. Because the Ukrainians need a break. The Ukrainians need a break. Thanks, Pingu. And I need to get healthy for my own sake. So I'm going to see the doctor tomorrow, Clive. But remember, I have not had heat in my apartment since January 9th. It's a tough row to hoe. It's a tough row to hoe. No two ways about it. No, I don't have that kind of money, Gopher. In the summer and when the weather is nice, I go over to the Kachalka, which is an outdoor gym made of spare parts, so your weights are flywheels and that kind of thing, Oh yeah, Colin, right? In a beautiful hotel with lights and heat. That's me. I'm a frontiersman. I know what you're saying, pal. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thanks, Gopher Wood. I'm not sure that you would. You'd be surprised. Look, this country has no history of consumer economy, right? It has a history of the very privileged and wealthy, and then the peasantry. That's the history of this country. And so you would be surprised at how expensive things in this country are that we take for granted in the rest of the world. You would be surprised. You're not wrong, Feisty. Thanks, Akron. I showed you what in the TikTok, Scully. I'm not sure what that means. Hey, George. Thanks, Jedi. I did. I have slept as much. I've had 3 naps in this room, each one of them about an hour long. That's 3 hours of sleep, right? That's about what I was averaging a night for the last week. 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I don't think I slept more than 3.5 hours in a row any time this last week. Yep, you're right, Illuminated Core. And again, guys, for everybody that was in last night's live, I really do apologize. I was cracking up. I had reached the limit, and I was losing it. So I needed to make a change, and I made a change today, and I think it's for the best. Van, you're still pushing the grannies on me. You are funny. The problem in this country is that the grannies, everybody that grew up in the Soviet Union, none of them speak English, man. None of them speak. Very hard to find a granny that speaks English in this country. And I have to be able to have a conversation. Alice, last night was a good night to miss. Don't worry about it. Well, I was late by about 2 hours and 45 minutes refurb because the internet was out. There was no internet. What change did I make? I left my unheated apartment with no power and I checked into a hotel. Right, so this is not my apartment. This is a hotel. And I had to do it. I felt like I was never going to be warm again. I've already taken 2 hot showers since I've been here. And it's much for the better. I feel much better. I really do. I'm not worried about food. I brought some food from the house. I brought some chips. I brought some apples. In the refrigerator, there's some beef stock and some sliced meat, some cold cuts, some cheese. So no, and I can always run home and eat. I still have that turkey, some of that turkey thighs left with the vegetables. Thanks, John. No, Victoria, I brought the beef stock. I have the beef stock in the fridge, and I have a microwave here. Easy peasy. Old and slightly grumpy. Pal, that describes me to a T right now. Heady Yankee, that also describes me to a T. Thanks, pal. All right. So again, big thanks to Jan Halverson, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Big thanks to Lars, who has the Discord server, Nightshade, who has the Peter's Peeps group, and of course, to the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk. Yeah, Jan. I'm going to have to wait for the power to come back on so I can nuke it. But I was so paranoid about the stove having to be on 24 hours a day. I shudder to think what my gas bill is going to be. Literally the stove was on for 96 hours plus straight, without surcease. I shudder to think what that gas bill is going to be. But it was the only heat in the house. I couldn't imagine not doing it. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Chrissy. I'm going to sleep super well tonight. I know that. I can feel it already. All right, kids. Make it a great day and have a pleasant tomorrow. Oh, actually, have a nice weekend, everybody. And I don't know, I don't know anything. I don't know what's next. But I'll see everybody on Monday. Thanks.